The Korean International Ceramic Biennale has invited to an artistic scene that will lead the future of ceramic art with various networks connected. The convergence through connection will be expanded gradually, even after the Biennale, creating a paradigm for continuous exchanges. The theme of the conference is very relevant because there is a need to see the art of ceramics in new contexts in a changing world. We contribute with the project Blue Collar, White Collar, which is about the fourth industrial revolution that has been called the rise of the robot. There is a great robotization of work in healthcare, office work, and in other areas. The old professions disappear: industrial workers, blue collar, and office workers, white collar, is on the way out. This has been interpreted on one side like a terrifying development, while others have seen it as a new industrial revolution. The Davos meeting discussed two different directions where one predicts a development leading to mass unemployment, and the other direction sees a potential for increased employment based on that people increasingly need to be more in touch with each other in life's everyday situations. The community is approaching robotics, but one also sees the tendency for craft's reappearance. New values and new business models may occur in the consumer society in a robotized community. We wish to question this development through artistic reflections on the theme, with artworks, text and film, showing perspectives from craft and handicraft-based processes. A conceptual framework for one of the projects was to make ceramics in blue and white as a reflection on the theme. Such an approach shows lines back from the fourth industrial revolution to the first industrial revolution. New ways of working with ceramics emerge all the time. And a relevant question is therefore, what does it mean to be a ceramic artist? What do ceramic artists do? What kind of knowledge is needed in future work life? A specific interest we have is to go beyond the established traditions and to look for new interdisciplinary use of ceramics, because the skill of making ceramics has shown to be very flexible in history, with use spanning from kitchenware via spaceship surface to contemporary art installations. This study is a contribution to identify what kind of knowledge that is happening in an interdisciplinary project of filmmaking and ceramic practice. My name is Arild Berg. I have a master's degree in ceramic art and a Doctor of Arts degree in contemporary art. I work at Oslo Metropolitan University, which is the third largest university in Norway with a student body of approximately 20,000 students and 2,000 employees. The university specializes in professional training in fields such as nursing, technology, art and design, physiotherapy, engineering, and teaching, and is a recognized environment for professionally oriented and vocationally relevant research and development. As a focus for this study, I have this research question. How can new knowledge be identified from an interdisciplinary approach of dogma film and ceramic art? As guiding propositions in the case study, I have been inspired by theory from Varto, Krauss and Tausig, where I propose that you can learn new things from unique art experiences. You can unfold creativity in new ways through making sculpture in the expanded field. You can explore the world in new ways through aesthetic performance. I will come back to these theoretical propositions after I have shown more of the project. The dogma film concept started as a protest against the Danish funding system, focusing too much on commercial films. By inventing 10 rules, the concept secured that more contemporary stories came to life on decent budgets. This protest is strongly related to the questions explored in the ceramic art exhibition Blue Collar, White Collar, about the role of craft in the ongoing robotization and rationalization of our society. The documentary filmmaker Mona Hoel developed a short film about the project Blue Collar, White Collar that has been a part of several exhibitions. The title of the film, Rhythm of the Hands. The project has obtained funding from the Norwegian Arts and Crafts Association and from the Arts Council of Norway. Site-specific exhibitions of the project has been executed at several galleries and art events, such as at Gallery Nes Crafts in Gothenburg, in Sweden, in the summer of 2017, at Buskerud Art Center, and at the National Exhibition of Crafts in Norway in 2018. We have made installations and tableaux with elements of blue and white, where art objects in different ways has explored space, three-dimensionality, and activation of the viewer. The documentary film Rhythm of the Hands illustrates how the slow process of creativity in the ceramic art is applied to the courage of storytelling as a whole. Mona Hall is a recognized filmmaker and has been traveling worldwide with her dogma concept of making documentary films. She is well known for introducing the concept of dogma film in Norway. Between her international journeys, sitting in her home, she heard voices and sounds from activists in the basement below her flat and got curious. This way she revealed the ceramic studio Avart, and she started to make a documentary film about the ceramic processes of creativity happening below her own living room. The films show how short presentations of the four craftspeople and how do their work find various expressions in society through exhibitions, dissemination, public art, workshops, teaching at an activity center through both ceramics, jewelry, glassblowing, and collaborations with other artists. The filmmaker gets the time that passes the seasons changing, work drama, and joy outbursts hand in hand with the artistic process. The film has a visual emphasis on hands, skill, and rhythm in unison with the individual's artistic signature and workflow. This is seen in contrast to the robotization of a society where craft become an important counterforce. She documented the way we worked in practice. She asked questions about our feelings and thoughts during the creative process of making. During these meetings in the workshop, we reflected about both the need for art or personal stories of becoming artists and how we connected art to our lives in different ways, both in childhood and in everyday today. The documentation process made us reflect upon our backgrounds, the reasons why we work with materials as an artistic expression, and how our approach might differ from other generations. Armed with a GoPro camera, we were encouraged to record voice and happy experiences, also outside the ceramic studio, to demonstrate how we connected our artistic practice to our everyday life. Here is Elise reflecting on how her work with color connect to the shades of blue in nature. Here is some of the results from the process that is exhibited, and I have chosen some comments from an art critic who wrote about this exhibition in Sweden in 2017. She writes that Elise Kielland's work process, based on the shades of blue and white in color between the sky and land on the horizon, has resulted in a soft pastel tone palette. These tones have since been given free play in designs inspired by old medallion tradition during a long production period in stock. Although no plate is similar to the other, with great fingertip feel, they have been paired two and two in molded table positions. Further, she writes about my works, that Arilberg's non-pictorial surfaces are visually the opposite of Kielland's and seem to have gained their intensity and movement as a result of a fast and spontaneous work process. His choice of almost deep shades of blue and broken white gives the tiles an intense on the verge of three-dimensional expression, which is in stark contrast to the clear geometric shape, in a way that I find very appealing. About Mimi Swang's work, she writes that Swang's bold combination of denim fabrics combined with porcelain clay is exciting and innovative. She has worked with simple, both cylindrical and wave-shaped vessels walls that have been crocheted into one or two different jeans fabrics. The combination is as unexpected, in a sense a free choice, and is also varied across 10 different works. Clearly, Swang's imagination sits in the front seat, even though the technical execution is of the highest class. Finally, she writes about Linda Luthe, and she says that in her opinion, the Linda Jansson Luthes from Gothenburg originally work is characterized by the same experimental desire and creative flow. Jansson Luthes' desire for color and extra of everything has got to take a step back in the blue and white color project. Instead, she now shows a number of balls and ball pieces, almost minutely disciplined and, at least in her eyes, slightly cuddly. She is deeply fascinated by the balls of women at the bottom because at first glance they appear as some kind of decorative mermaids before they transform to feeling worrying instead. After seeing pictures of several works by Jansson Luthe, she finds that precisely the need and ability to tell and dramatize goes as an exciting red thread through her work. Moving from 2017 to 2018, we had an exhibition at the annual craft exhibition in Norway, and the art critic Gjertrud Steinsvåg wrote about this installation. In spite of many fine contributions, there are two works that causes her to get the impulse a bit above the normal pose. One of them was the project Blue Collar, White Collar. She writes, the four ceramic artists work with a common interest in the correlation between the return of the craft and the fact that a robotized workforce makes manual work outdated. The artists work directly with the traditional blue and white ceramics to draw parallels between today's discussion and the first industrial revolution, where arts and crafts movement formed a counterforce for industrialization. She further writes that filmmaker Hoel has been following Berg, Jansson Luthe, Swang and Kielland for more than a year and has made a great short film where we get insight into thoughts and reflections about making, immediately as we can see just that, to make. I find that Avart's mini exhibit room installation has a form of thematic superstructure and dissemination that could be a very interesting starting point for all in the annual exhibition of crafts. I would like to have a more theoretical perspective on this project. And as you remember the research question, how can new knowledge be identified from an interdisciplinary approach of dogma film in ceramic art? I used guiding propositions in the case study that was inspired by the art philosopher Juha Varto and also the art theoreticians Krauss and Tausig. And Varto claims that you can learn a lot from unique art experiences, and through her groundbreaking essay, Krauss has inspired many artists to work in new ways, and one of my propositions was that you can unfold creativity in new ways through making sculpture in the expanded field. Finally, Tausig worked with social anthropology in art, and he criticizes the neutral standing point of many social anthropologists and would like them to find back to some of their original, more subjective approaches by the first anthropologists, and think that this using aesthetic performance is a interesting way to get into and understand cultures. This theoretical framework is developed further from my doctoral thesis from 2014. It was called Artistic Research in Public Space, Participation in Material-Based Art. This was a study about how participatory creative processes can happen in various locations, such as in a religious context of a church, in a school, and in a geriatric ward for mental health in a hospital. The art philosopher Juha Varto claims that in artistic research it would be interesting to see the practical project in a more theoretical perspective and even in a more philosophical way, such as what kind of view of man is shown in art education. Also to have reflections about the view of the world in artistic practice, and what kind of ideology is reflected in what is happening, what kind of standardization is happening, meaning is there any kind of questions that are allowed to ask, and are there some questions that are not allowed to ask? Further, he also looks at imprinting, meaning is there any kind of other areas that is not art where it has been possible to use theory or methods that is relevant? There are many ways to use these issues. For example, it could have been used to see how can these issues be used in new work life, new kind of business models. But as I work in education, I would like to focus now on an educational perspective, and I have transformed some of the issues into learning outcomes in relation to the Bologna process that describes the different levels of knowledge on the first, second, and third cycle, and the second cycle is related to the master studies. So for a student who have expertise in dogma film and ceramic art practice, they would need to document ability to reflect on being human in the span from making objects for practical use to making objects for reflection, and to argue how there is a need for art in society. Even one can say that a philosophical approach would be understanding the world through unique experiences of aesthetics in material-based art. A meta-reflection in artistic practice is needed, and it is possible to explore identity in the digitized society through the tactile experience of craft. And further, students should be able to document how to feel connected to the physical world through ceramic practice. Another topic is that the process is a goal for this kind of students, not only the object in itself. So experience the dialectic process of making the physical object in the film is a part of the artistic work. Art in some way can be integrated in everyday experiences and in various jobs. And through the film media you can understand the physical artwork better, and through the physical artwork you understand the film better. So finally, there has become a mutual complementary understanding in the meeting point of dogma film and ceramic art practice. However, there are still many more case studies to explore in the interdisciplinary field of ceramics and other subjects. This bit contributes to identify some of the new knowledge that can be even more relevant in the future. Here are some of the references that I refer to, both the doctoral study that I did in 2014 and some of the other references that I refer to in the text. Here is the group, the team Avart, that has been collaborating in the blue collar, white collar project. On the left is Simona Ho, then there is Mimi Svang, Linda Lote, Elise Kjelland, and me, Arild Berg. The project has been invited to new art exhibitions in 2020 and in 2021. You can also have a closer look at each participant's contributions at the great website of the Korean International Ceramic Biennale 2019. Thank you for listening to the presentation, and please contact for more information if you would like to have that. You listen to Arild Berg, Doctor of Arts at OsloMet, Oslo Metropolitan University. The recordings were made 28th of July 2019.